Hi guys, welcome to All Aboard. This is Aditya. So in this video, we are going to discuss about Indian freedom struggle or Indian freedom movements. Best way to discuss this topic is with the help of Governor Generals, British Governor Generals in India. That what were the incidents took place at the time of Governor Generals, who were the Governor Generals, what were the important decisions they took in India, and what was their effect, what was the effect of their policies in India during the time of British India. So we will discuss all these things with the help of the timeline of Governor Generals. All the important Governor Generals we are going to discuss, and all the important movements took place at their time. Let's start the session, and guys, during the session I'll keep my video off so it will be easy for you to see the complete PPT. What I'll do is I'll discuss the MCQs also with you based on the pattern on which the questions comes in your examination. Starting with the question number 1, that who was the first governor of Bengal? We know this thing that Bengal was the richest presidency of India at the time of British India. So when after the Battle of Plassey took place in 1773. So after the Battle of Plassey, when the first governor of Bengal was appointed, who was that governor? Correct answer was Robert Clive. So Battle of Plassey was a conspiracy against the governor, against the Nawab of Bengal. The name was Sirajuddaulah. It was a conspiracy by the British government against the Nawab of Bengal. The name of Nawab was Sirajuddaulah. After this conspiracy, Britishers got control over Bengal, and because Robert Clive was leading the British force during the Battle of Plassey, so Robert Clive was appointed as the first governor of company in Bengal. Now there will be a difference between Governor of Bengal and Governor General of Bengal. So let's see the another question. The next one. Who was the first Governor General of Bengal? Now what was the difference between Governor of Bengal and Governor General of Bengal? Governor General of Bengal was the authority over the presidency of Madras and Bombay as well. Means it was a bigger position. It was a bigger position. According to the regulating act, Warren Hastings was appointed as the first Governor General of Bengal. So he was the person who was the authority over the governor of Madras and Bombay itself, Bombay as well. Who was the first Governor General of India? Now we are talking about the authority of British India, the person who was leading over the complete India as a Governor General of complete India, the first person who was appointed. Correct answer is Lord William Bentinck. It was according to the Charter Act 1833 Charter Act. So the first Governor General of India was Mr. Lord William Bentinck. We are going to discuss about them also in brief. Don't worry about that. First of all, I am picking the question one by one, because lots of students get confused between this Governor General, then Viceroy, then again Governor General. Now, the first Viceroy of India. So, actually what happened? After 1857 revolution, after the revolt of 1857, British government passed Government of India Act. The act was called Government of India Act 1858. According to this act, British government cancelled the authority of East India Company over India. Means after 1857, East India Company started only doing business in India, not administration. The administration of India was directly took by the British Crown. It means in reality now the British government entered in India. आप समझे इस बात को कि अभी तक इंडिया में ब्रिटिशर्स को रिप्रेजेंट ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी कर रही थी. अब ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी का काम रह गया था सिर्फ बिजनेस, ओनली बिजनेस, एंड the regulation or the administration of India was directly holded by the British government. So the officer of East India Company was called Governor General, but the officer of British government was called Viceroy. So who was the last Governor General and the first Viceroy of India? Correct answer is Lord Canning. I told you the act was called Government of India Act 1858. Next one. Who was the first Governor General of independent India? In 1947, when India got freedom, who was appointed as the Governor General of India? Correct answer is Lord Mountbatten, Lord Louis Mountbatten. He was the Governor General till June 1948. He was the Governor General till June 1948. So do not think like in 1947 only Britishers left India and they completely left India in the year 1947 on 15 August only. No, they were in India till 1948. Till June 1948, he was the Governor General of India. Now in June 1948, the only Indian, the single Indian who got the position of Governor General of India before as well as after the independence of India. So the only Indian who became the Governor General of independent India was C. Rajagopalachari. Then what about the position of Governor General? This position of Governor General was replaced on 24th of January 1950, 2 days before the first Republic Day of India. This position was replaced by the President of India. President of India. Dr. Rajendra Prasad elected as the first President of India, and the position of Governor General was replaced by the President of India. So now we have the position of President of India in place of Governor General of India. I hope it is clear. Now I am going a little bit deep inside the concept, so we'll be able to understand the logics easily. Robert Clive. Robert Clive duration was 1757 till 1760. 1757. The Battle of Plassey. I'm sorry guys, initially I told you 1773. 1773 was the duration of Battle of Buxar. 1757 was the duration of Battle of Plassey. 1757 was the duration of Battle of Plassey, and 1773 was the duration of Battle of Buxar. So that was Battle of Buxar. Sorry from my side. And yeah. So Robert Clive was the leader of British Army in the Battle of Plassey. He was leading the British Army in the Battle of Plassey in 1757. He appointed as the first governor of Bengal. The system of dual government was implemented by the Robert Clive. What was this dual government? He divided the government into two forms, Nizamat and Diwani. Nizamat means administration. Nizamat means administration, and Diwani means collection of taxes. So what he told that administration will be done by the Nawab. They appointed Nawab as well. So they said that administration will be the responsibility of Nawab, and Diwani will be the right of company. Company means British East India Company. So company will collect the taxes. So you can understand it very easily. Administration without fund, how it is possible? So it was one of the most failure process, or you can say that it was the most failure administration system which was implemented in India, dual administration system. Now dual administration system was removed by Warren Hastings. According to the Regulating Act 1773, Warren Hastings appointed as the Governor General of Bengal. He was the first Governor General of Bengal, and he has removed the dual administration system. The Governor of Madras and Bombay were subordinate to him. So I told you the difference between first Governor and first Governor General. He was the first Governor General of Bengal. He stopped giving Mughal 26 lakh rupee pension to Shah Alam II. He moved the treasury of British government from Murshidabad to Calcutta. Treasury means a type of capital of that time. You can say that capital. So he moved capital from Murshidabad to Calcutta. Asiatic Society of Bengal was founded by Sir William Jones in 1784 at the time of Warren Hastings. Lord Cornwallis, he has started permanent settlement in India. Now what was permanent settlement? Permanent settlement was a land revenue system, or you can say that zamindari system. Under this system, a zamindar was appointed in each area in each villages, and they were responsible to collect the taxes. Whatever the tax was collected, approximately 90% of total revenue was the part of company, and remaining 10% was the share of zamindar. This system was called permanent settlement. In Hindi, it was called Sthai Bandobast. Direct question: that permanent settlement was implemented in India by whom? Lord Cornwallis. And permanent settlement was related to what? So it was a zamindari system in India. Lord Cornwallis introduced civil services in India. That is why he is also known as the father of civil services in India. He introduced police reforms according to which each district was divided into 400 square miles, and SP, superintendent of police, was appointed for one district. In each district, superintendent of police was appointed to administrate the complete police department of that district. The same to same function which we are using at present as well. Lord Wellesley established William College at Calcutta. He introduced a subsidiary alliance. It was one of the most, you can say that, the sharp initiative by the Britishers. Subsidiary alliance. Under the subsidiary alliance, Britishers started doing the treaty with the Indian kings or nawabs. They said that it was a friendly treaty. It was a friendly treaty between British government and the Indian kings and nawabs. So Lord Wellesley said that to any king or nawab that I want to do the subsidiary alliance with you. Under the subsidiary alliance, what we will do, we will keep our forces, our British forces, in your territory for your safety. If anyone will attack on you, it will be considered an attack on the Britishers. अगर कोई आपके ऊपर अटैक करता है तो हम मानेंगे कि वो ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट के ऊपर अटैक है. If you want to attack on someone, if you want to acquire any area, don't directly fight with them. Tell to us, inform to us, we will fight for you. So Indian Nawabs or kings were completely surprised. They thought that, oh, what happened to Britishers? Why they are so friendly? So finally, it was against a conspiracy case. It was a very sharp move of Britishers. Britishers said that just Nawab or king has to pay the salary for the British army maintenance. Means British forces inside the territory of Indian kings and Nawabs and paid by that Indian kings and Nawab, but they were the British forces. समझिए इस बात को. भारतीय राजाओं के क्षेत्र के अंदर ब्रिटिश आर्मी रखी गई, लेकिन उस ब्रिटिश आर्मी का खर्चा कौन उठा रहा है? वो राजा उठा रहा है, पर वो ब्रिटिश आर्मी उस राजा की आर्मी नहीं है. सो ब्रिटिशर्स वर रिक्रूटिंग लार्ज क्वांटिटी ऑफ people and they were sending to the different nawabs or king territories, and they recruited lots of people because salary was paid by them only. In return, in these things, if you will observe, under the subsidiary alliance, Britishers started controlling complete foreign policy and the military policies of all the kings and nawabs. Nizam of Hyderabad was the first victim of this policy. Means the complete foreign policy and the military powers of Indian kings or nawabs were started controlling by the British government under the subsidiary alliance. So it was a very dangerous move. Next is Lord William Bentinck. Lord William Bentinck, according to the Charter Act 1833, he has been appointed as the Governor General of India. He was the first Governor General of India. So he got promoted from the position of Governor General of Bengal to the position of Governor General of India. He became the authority over the entire territorial possessed by the Britishers in India. William Bentinck was the first Governor General. He was also known as the very liberal Governor General because he took lots of the initiative in favor of Indians. Indians के favor में बहुत सारे decisions लिए थे. For example, Bengal Sati regulation. So he banned the Sati practice in India by the Bengal Sati regulation with the help of Raja Ram Mohan Roy. English Education Act 1835. According to this, English was made the language of education in India. Second thing, Britishers made one fund that is British Parliament to spend on education and literature in India. Fund was created according to this, and Britishers started spending money for the education and literature in India. Lord William Bentinck, on the recommendation of Macaulay Committee, English was made as the medium of higher education in India. That is why Lord William Bentinck was known as the father of modern Western education in India. So these are very, very important points. Such type of point where I have already highlighted. These are very important points. Next is Charles Metcalfe. Charles Metcalfe passed famous press law. So he is known as the liberator of press in India. He is known as the liberator of press in India. He has given the lots of freedom to the newspaper and newspapers in India, so they can write against the British government. This was a right given by Metcalfe. Next is Lord Dalhousie. Lord Dalhousie is most famous for the doctrine of lapse. What was doctrine of lapse? Doctrine of lapse was the rule under which Indian kings, Nawabs, any Indian who have some area or property, they were not allowed to adopt any kid, even in their own family, from their own family. Means if any king does not have any higher or any hierarchy, अगर उनका कोई वंशज नहीं है, in short, if they do not have any of their own son, their own kid, their own son, then the property of that person was occupied by the British government according to the doctrine of lapse. मैं एक बार और रिपीट कर देता हूं हिंदी में. डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ लैप्स को व्यापगंत सिद्धांत भी कहा जाता है. अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस पॉलिसी, इस पॉलिसी में ब्रिटिशर्स ने ये कहा कि जिस भी किंग या नवाब का अपना वंशज नहीं है, उनकी प्रॉपर्टी को ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट की प्रॉपर्टी में मर्ज कर दिया जाएगा. सो it was a policy and it was a big reason behind 1857 revolution. ये बहुत बड़ा रीजन था 1857 revolution का. The state of Satara, Jaipur, Sambalpur, Bahat, Jhansi, everyone heard about the Jhansi ki Rani incidents. So Jhansi, Nagpur, these were the states which were captured by Britishers according to the doctrine of lapse. Lord Dalhousie also implemented Charles Wood Dispatch. Sometime in the examination you get the question that Charles Wood Dispatch was related to which of the following things in India, which of the following systems in India. So it was related to the education system from school to university. So this is important, that that Wood Dispatch was related to what? It was related to education system in India. Point number one, it was related to education system in India. So Charles Wood Dispatch recommendation: an education department should be formed in every province. At least one government school should be open in every district. Indian natives should be given training in their mother tongue also. Universities model on the model of London University to be established in Bombay, Calcutta and Madras. So these were the recommendation by the Wood Dispatch, and they were implemented by Dalhousie in India. Dalhousie took some another very, very important decisions in India, like Public Work Department was started by Dalhousie. So he was the founder of PWD in India. Public Service Commission was, the Department of Public Service Commission was formed in 1854 by Lord Dalhousie. Shimla was made as the summer capital of India by Dalhousie. On 16 April 1853, the first passenger train in India from Bombay, that is Bori Bandar, to Thane was started by Lord Dalhousie, or at the time of Lord Dalhousie. So he is known as the father of Indian Railway. Dalhousie is known as the father of Indian Railway. Post Office Act was passed by him. Post Office Act was passed by him, and according to that, common man in India, post office came in the reach of common man in India. Means now the common man, with the help of postal ticket, was able to use the post office to send the letter from one place to another place. Lord Canning, one of the very important incidents was 1857 revolution. The revolt of 1857 took place at the time of Lord Canning. There were multiple reasons behind the 1857 revolution. But after this revolt, British government passed Government of India Act 1858, and British government has announced the liquidation of British East India Company. They said that all the powers and the functions will be transferred to the British Crown. Means I said you previously also, after 1858, actually the British government started regulating India in all the aspects, started doing the administration in India in all the aspects from the year 1858. The position of Governor General of India was replaced by the Viceroy of India. Lord Canning was the first Viceroy of India. He withdrew doctrine of lapse policy implemented by Dalhousie. Hindu Widow Remarriage Act was passed in 1856. It was a great move by Canning, but it was opposed by the Indians. Indians thought that Britishers are interfering in the Hindu tradition. So Indians were opposed. Indians were in the oppose of this act as well. University of Calcutta, Bombay, Madras were founded in 1857 at the time of Lord Canning. High Court Act 1861 has been passed. Lord Lawrence. At the time of Lord Lawrence, High Court of Calcutta, Madras, Bombay were established during the year 1865. He also created the Indian Forest Departments in India. Lord Mayo. The first census of India was conducted in 1871, but not the continuous census. It was the first census. So first census of India was conducted during the year 1871. He started SCSSI, that is Statistical Survey of India. Now we call it SCO. We call it SCO statistics. We call it SCO Statistics Center of Organization or Statistic Department in India. This department was actually founded by Lord Mayo. Lord Mayo founded this department. CSO, Central Statistical Organization. CSO, Central Statistical Organization in India was actually, the new name is this one, CSO. Next one, Lord Lytton. Delhi Darbar was conducted on 1st of January 1877 to decorate Queen Victoria from the position of Kesare-Hind. Kesare-Hind means, you can say that the god of Hind, the Tilak of Hind, the chief of Hind. Hind means India. So the position of Kesare-Hind was given to Queen Victoria. Lytton took few adverse type of decision, like he reduces the maximum age of civil services examination from 21 to 19. Means after 19 it was not allowed to write the civil services examination. He has put Vernacular Press Act in 1878. According to this act, all the press, newspaper in India, came under complete control of British government. Means they were not allowed to write anything against the British government, otherwise their property was occupied by the British government forcefully. This act was called Vernacular Press Act. It was passed by Lord Lytton. Ripon. What Ripon has done? Exactly opposite decision made by Lytton. Whatever the Lytton has done, Ripon came and made them right. The wrong decision, he corrected them again. So he has again changed the civil services exam maximum age from 19 to 21. Second, Factory Act was passed at the time of 1881, prohibited child labor in India. Vernacular Press Act has been removed. So he has removed Vernacular Press Act. Ilbert Bill. Ilbert Bill was the bill which has given the right to the Indian magistrates. Indian magistrates means in the courts that time there were two types of magistrates. One, Indian magistrates. Second, European magistrates. So Indian magistrate got the right to do the hearing of European criminal, but it was withdrawn later by the big opposition of European magistrates as well as European people, that why the Indians will, how the Indians will get right to give the punishment to us. It is not good. So finally the Ilbert Bill has been removed. So it was a good decision took by Lord Ripon. but forcefully, but because of the pressure by the Britishers and the British forces, he removed this bill later. Lord Curzon. Lord Curzon is very famous for the incidents of partition of Bengal. We'll talk about it also, but starting with the point, he has passed the University Act in 1904, which officially controls all the universities in India. Means the control of university has been increased in India by the British government. He has also passed Ancient Monument Protection Act. According to that, ASI was founded in India. Archaeological Survey of India for the protection of cultural heritage in India was formed. Partition of Bengal, the biggest decision. Partition of Bengal was announced on 19 July 1905 by the Viceroy of India. The partition was took place on 16 of October 1905. According to this partition, Muslim Eastern area and Hindu Western area were divided. Basically, if I'll talk in a practical situation today, so it was a division of West Bengal with East Bengal. Where is East Bengal at present? East Bengal converted into Bangladesh at present. So in current situation, Bangladesh, that was the Eastern Bengal. Western Bengal is the area including Jharkhand, Bihar, Odisha. This all area was the Hindu majority area. So this partition was the first partition in India on the basis of religion. On the basis of religion. So from here, Britishers started separating Indians on the basis of religion. But in Bengal, Congress started Swadeshi movement. And on the matter of Swadeshi movement, there was a split in Congress also took place. Congress later on divided into moderates and extremists to run the Swadeshi movement. I'll talk about it also. The same Swadeshi movement was also called Vande Mataram movement in the coastal area of India. So why the Swadeshi movement was started? The movement was started against the partition of Bengal. It was started in October 1905. Split in Congress, extremists wanted to extend the Swadeshi movement throughout India, continuing boycott the British goods. तो एक्सट्रीमिस्ट चाहते थे कि ये जो मूवमेंट है इसको पूरे इंडिया में रन किया जाए, बट द मॉडरेट्स in Indian National Congress rejected this proposal and they said that we should focus only in Bengal. It causes split in Indian National Congress in 1907 Surat session. After the split, most of the extremist leaders were arrested on the charge of sedition, means increasing the suppression of extremists and creating the unrest in India. So because of with the help of all these matters, all these charges, most of the extremist leaders were arrested in India. They were arrested in India, and the first phase of revolutionary terrorism emerged in India. Lord Minto, Indian Council Act 1909, Marley-Minto reform was passed. Marley-Minto reform was related to the election on the basis of religion. It was announced that a particular seat will have a particular candidate from a particular religion on the basis of majority. So Indians were against Marley-Minto reform. But it was implemented that time. Lord Hardinge, 1910 to 1916. Delhi Darbar was announced in the year 1911 to welcome George V. Three big decisions were take place at that time. First one, Lord Hardinge cancelled the partition of Bengal. The partition of Bengal cancelled. And second one, the capital of India was shifted from Kolkata to Delhi. So it was the time in 1911 when the capital of India was shifted from Kolkata to Delhi. Third decision was the formation of Gateway of India. Gateway of India constructed in Mumbai to welcome George V. Gandhiji came back to India from South Africa in the year 1915. Lord Chelmsford, August Declaration in the year 1917. During the First World War. What was August Declaration? What was August Declaration? So, August Declaration was the offer to Indians. It was an offer to Indians that support us during the World War. Britishers are saying that support us during the World War and we will give you dominion status after the World War. Now, what is this dominion status? Dominion status means a free country with their own constitution but under the Britishers. एक ऐसा देश जो फ्री है जिसका अपना कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन अपना संविधान है but still they are under the Britishers. So this was an offer in 1917 and Indians welcomed it. You will be surprised, Indians welcomed it and Indians supported in the First World War. Even Gandhiji was called recruiting agent in the First World War. Why? Because Gandhiji supported Britishers in the First World War. Gandhiji was thinking that Britishers are not completely wrong. If Britishers are ready to give the equal rights to Indian, what is the problem? They can stay here, but they should give the equal rights to India. They should give our constitution. They should give the dominion status to India. So it was the initial phase of Gandhiji, but later it was completely changed and it came up to Quit India movement when Gandhiji said that Britishers leave India in the Quit India movement. Rowlatt Act 1919, Jallianwala Bagh massacre on 13 April 1919, non-cooperation movement, Khilafat movement took place at the time of Lord Chelmsford. These were the very big incidents. One by one we'll discuss about them. Rowlatt Act 1919. This act authorized British government to arrest anybody suspected for the terrorist activity without any arrest warrant, without any charges, and without any hearing, without any court trial, and they can keep in the jail for 2 years. 2 years in the jail without any court trial. So it was a very powerful act or right for the British police forces. It increases the power of police forces. They can do the search at any place without warrant, without any restriction, without warrant, without any restriction. And after that, restriction on press was also made by the Rowlatt Act in 1990. It was called Black Bill or Black Law. It was called Black Bill or Black Law. Second incident was Jallianwala Bagh massacre. हम हिंदी में जलियांवाला बाग हत्याकांड भी कहते हैं. After the Rowlatt Act, two popular Congress leaders, that was Satyapal Malik, Saifuddin Kichlu, were arrested in Punjab according to the Rowlatt Act only. The situation was alarming in Punjab because of Rowlatt Act. Lieutenant Governor of Punjab was Michael O. Dyer, General Dyer. Everyone remember the name General Dyer. Lord Chelmsford was the Viceroy of India. On the day of 13th April 1919 in Jallianwala Bagh, a public garden in Amritsar, a crowd of non-violent protesters had gathered to protest against the arrest of these two leaders. General Dyer ordered to fire on the crowd and suppress protest. Many died themselves. And this incident was called Jallianwala Bagh massacre or Jallianwala Bagh Hatyakand. British government made a Hunter Commission to inquire about this massacre, and disciplinary action took against General Dyer. He was sent to London after this decision that you should go back to London. You should go back to England after this decision. After this Hunter Commission. Rabindranath Tagore gave up the title of knighthood after this Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Gandhiji given back the title of Kesari-Hind. Gandhiji was also honored with the title Kesari-Hind. So Rabindranath Tagore has given back the title of knighthood. Gandhiji given back the title of Kesari-Hind to the Britishers. Khilafat movement and non-cooperation movement. After the First World War, Turkey ruler that was called Khalifa. He was the controller of Muslim religion in all over the world. He was the controller of Muslim religion in all over the world. During the World War, British government promised to the Indian Muslims that no change will be made in the position of Khalifa. There will be no change made in the position of Khalifa. But after the First World War, Britishers removed the position of Khalifa. Because of that, in India, Indian Muslims started Khilafat movement. Now, Khilafat movement was merged with non-cooperation movement. Non-cooperation movement was started by Mahatma Gandhi against Jallianwala Bagh massacre, against Rowlatt Act, in the favor of Khilafat movement. So Gandhi ji started non-cooperation movement and they merged Khilafat movement with non-cooperation movement. Now, Lord Reading, responsible to suppress the non-cooperation movement after Chauri Chaura incidents took place. Swaraj Party was established under the Congress to fight the election in the year 1923. In the year 1923. So Swaraj Party, the name was given on the name of Swaraj, means independence or self-rule. The famous leader of Swaraj Party was Chittaranjan Das. He was the president of Swaraj Party, and Motilal Nehru was the secretary of Swaraj Party. Swaraj Party was formed under the Congress itself. It was a part of Indian National Congress, because Indian National Congress was the part of was participating in non-cooperation movement, and in the non-cooperation movement there was a rule that you cannot participate in any function or any step took by the British government. So they were not able to participate in the election. So finally, Motilal Nehru made another party inside the Congress called Swaraj Party, and this party participated in the election of 1923. That was a municipal election. Now, Lord Reading, 21 to 26, same time. First phase of non-cooperation movement was a big success. After that, Gandhiji had a plan to launch the second phase, that is at Bardoli in February 1922. Civil disobedience movement. The second phase of non-cooperation movement was planned, called civil disobedience movement. But because of Chauri Chaura incidents took place on 5th of February 1922, Gandhiji suspended civil disobedience movement, Gandhiji suspended non-cooperation movement, and Gandhiji took the moral responsibility of Chauri Chaura incidents. Gandhiji went jail for 6 years after taking the responsibility, but he was released after some time because of the health issues. He was released some time after the health issues, but the non-cooperation movement was suspended. Simon Commission, Lord Irwin. Simon Commission visited India in 1928. It was a 7-member commission. All 7 members were Britishers. That is why it was opposed by the Indians. The main motive of Simon Commission to observe and analyze that Indians are ready for their constitution or not. But Simon Commission was opposed because of all 7 members were Britishers. Lala Lajpat Rai died during protesting against the Simon Commission in Lahore due to Lathi charge, and after that Simon Commission returned back to the Britain. Civil disobedience movement 1930. Everyone heard about the Dandi March of Gandhiji. So Dandi March was the part of civil disobedience movement. First round table conference held in England in 1930. Remember round table conference? There were 3 round table conference. 3 round table conference. That was in 1930, 1931 and 1932. First, second and third. First one, second one, third one. Indian National Congress participated only in second one, not in the first, not in the third one. So Indian National Congress participated only in the second one, and Gandhiji represented Indian National Congress in the second round table conference. Gandhi-Irwin Pact was signed on 5th of March 1931. After that, civil disobedience movement was withdrawn by the Gandhiji. Second round table conference held from 7 September 1931 to 1st of December 1931. Gandhiji returned back from the England after attending second round table conference, which was also completely unsuccessful attempt by the Britishers. Why the Britishers were conducting this round table conference? Britishers were conducting this round table conference to discuss the possibility of proper elections in India and how to make the Constitution of India with the support of all the parties in India. But this second roundtable conference was also failure because Gandhiji was not satisfied with few conditions. The conditions of separate electorates on the basis of religion. Again, Britishers said that we will conduct the election on the basis of religion. Gandhiji was against it. Third roundtable conference was conducted in 1932. It was also a fail because Indian National Congress was not the part of it. Communal award. But what Britishers has done? Britishers took the report on the basis of three roundtable conference. They made a final report on the basis of three roundtable conference. On 16 August 1932, they announced communal award. Communal award means appointment of seats to the different religion communities. Gandhiji went for first against this division. Means the same thing I am saying you, that Britishers said that a particular seat, for example, किसी पर्टिकुलर एरिया में मुस्लिम्स का पॉपुलेशन ज्यादा है तो वहां पर कैंडिडेट सिर्फ मुस्लिम्स हो सकता था. किसी पर्टिकुलर एरिया में हिंदू का पॉपुलेशन ज्यादा है तो वहां पर सिर्फ हिंदू ही एज अ कैंडिडेट हो सकता था. इवन द वोटर विल बी हिंदूज ओनली. सो इट वाज अ decision of Britishers to divide Indian on the basis of religion. And Gandhiji went against on the fast against this protest. Lord Linlithgow. Cripps mission came to India in 1942. Cripps mission came to India to take the support of Indian in Second World War. Second World War started in the year 1939, went up to 1945, and Britishers were looking for the support of Indian during the Second World War. But Indians did not given the support. Cripps mission came with the same type of offer that we will provide you the constitution after the world war, will give you the dominion status after the world war. But Cripps mission was failed. Indians started Quit India movement in the year 1942. Indian National Congress started Quit India movement in the same year 1942. Lord Wavell, 1944 to 47. Cabinet mission plan launched in 1946. Cabinet mission is the same group by which the Constituent Assembly in India was formed. Constituent Assembly is the committee by which the Constitution of India was formed. So Cabinet Mission Plan came India to form Constituent Assembly, and by the Constituent Assembly the Constitution of India was formed. Constituent Assembly started their first meeting on 9 December 1946. Means the formation of Constitution was started from here. The formation of Constitution was completed on 26 November in 1949. But Constitution was implemented on 26th of January 1950. Reason, from the year 1930, on every 26th January, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was celebrating Independence Day. But India got freedom on 15 August, right? So last Governor General from the Britishers in India was Lord Mountbatten. Lord Mountbatten from March 1947 till August 1947. He was the first Governor General of Free India when the India got freedom. 3rd of June, he has announced Mountbatten Plan. What was Mountbatten Plan? Mountbatten Plan was the plan under which it was announced that India is not only the country who is getting freedom in August 1947. With India, Pakistan will also get free on the midnight of 15 August 1947. And Sir J. Radcliffe was called from England to India to make the map of India and Pakistan, to divide, to make the border in between India and Pakistan. तो इंडिया और पाकिस्तान के बीच में बॉर्डर बनाने के लिए जे रेडक्लिफ को बुलाया गया था. दैट इज व्हाई द लाइन इन बिटवीन इंडिया एंड पाकिस्तान कॉल्ड रेडक्लिफ लाइन. आफ्टर दैट The Indian Independence Act was passed on 4th of July 1947. According to this act, India got freedom on the midnight of 14-15 August 1947. Lord Mountbatten was retired in June 1948, succeeded by C. Rajgopalachari. C. Rajgopalachari was the only Indian who came on this position. Guys, here I have kept the important summits of Indian National Congress and who was the president, because I observed that such type of questions are directly they are asking in your examination. The first meeting or the first conference of Indian National Congress was conducted in 1885. Place was Bombay. W.C. Banerjee was the president. 1886 Kolkata, Dadabhai Nauroji. 1887 Madras, Baruddin Tayyib, first Muslim president of Indian National Congress. 1888 Allahabad, George Yule, first British or English president of Indian National Congress. After that, 1896 Kolkata, Rahmatullah Muhammad Sayani. Vande Mataram was sung for the first time. 1907 Surat, Ras Bihari Ghosh split in Congress. Congress was divided because of on the matter of Swadeshi movement. I have discussed with you. 1916 Lucknow, A.C. Majumdar, reunion of moderates and extremists. 1917 Kolkata, Annie Besant, first woman president of Indian National Congress. 1920 Nagpur, Lala Lajpat Rai, first constitution of Congress was drafted under Mahatma Gandhi, M.K. Gandhi. 1924 Belgaum, Gandhiji was the head of it. It was the only event of Indian National Congress which was conducted in a village. That time Belgaum was a village. 1925 Kanpur, Sarojini Naidu was the president, the first Indian woman president of Indian National Congress. 1929 Lahore, Purna Swaraj was declared. It was conducted under Jawaharlal Nehru. 1931 Kolkata, Vallabhbhai Patel passing the resolution on the fundamental rights, that Indians should require fundamental rights. 1938 Hirapur, Subhash Chandra Bose, and after this in 1939 in Tirupati, Subhash Chandra Bose resigned and Rajendra Prasad replaced Bose with the support of Mahatma Gandhi. And after that, Subhash Chandra Bose made IN, Indian National Congress, and went to Japan and all that incidents. 1947 Meerut, J.B. Kriplani. It was the last meeting of Indian National Congress.